Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now. See here, in the last class we have discussed about that monopoly and monopolistic competition. In the previous class, we have discussed about that monopolistic competition. See, what are the characteristics of that monopolistic competition? In monopolistic competition also we are having there existence of many number of firms. So here, generally in a real time, whatever the firms we are seeing, we are come across in that market, they all are monopolistic firms only. Okay, so here we are come across in more number of monopolistic markets means so each and every seller is going to affect that market a very small part only because an individual firm has only a relatively small part in the total market. So he has only a limited control over the price of the product. So he is not having a total control over the price of the product. He is also having a little control over the price of the product. So what are the other things we have seen? Product differentiation. So whatever the products they are selling, there are entirely different products. So in some cases there may be some homogeneous also, but there may be a product differentiation is there. In what way there is a product differentiation in terms of packet, color, flavors. So in that way the products are dissimilar. Okay. So here we have seen the some example toothpaste example. So if you take the toothpaste, we are having a number of toothpaste in the market. So all are for the same purpose only, but each and every one is different in terms of a small variations. So the variations in maybe some color, some packaging, or some flavors. So these are the minute differences in the commodities. So that thing we have seen in the last class. So monopolistic competition examples are nothing but toothpaste and soaps which we are using in the market. So how they are attracting the people? Suppose if you take that Colgate toothpaste, they are targeting the children. So they are saying that, so this is very good for children health care because as they are eating chocolates and sweets, so it is not going to spoil the teeth. It is good hygiene. It's good hygiene and dental care for the health. They are taking different concepts for attracting the people. So each and every because as the products are similar, they are only different in some aspects only. That's why they are attracting the people by their advertisements and promotional videos. That is the thing they are doing in the monopolistic market. Okay, next. So what are the other examples for monopolistic competition? So if you take a number of taxis, clothing which we wear, so we are having different shirt and pant brands. So if you take, there are varieties of jeans are there. In that jeans we are having different brands. So based on the comfort which it is giving, each consumer is going to prefer the particular type of that clothing. So restaurants, whatever the food we eat in the restaurant is somewhat different from another restaurant because in terms of spiciness, in terms of taste or other flavors, the food is going to be different. Hairdressing. So these are all other examples of monopolistic competition. Here there are large number of buyers also, and whenever any person wants to, any seller wants to come into this form, it is a free entry and exit of the forms. That means any person can enter into this monopolistic market and he can leave the market. So here there are no barriers for entering into this market, selling cost, because whatever the products they are selling in that monopolistic competition, they are close substitutes. So suppose if I am using a one Lux soap, suppose the cost of Lux soap is going to be increased by 10 rupees this month. So I am not going to afford whatever the increase in that soap. So I am going to for another alternate because there are number of alternatives and the substitutes are there for using the soap. So automatically whenever we are going to increase the selling cost means we are not able to retain the customers. So the existing customers are going to move to that another product. So we are going to increase, we are giving the chance to increase the demand for another products. So the selling costs are going to play a very much role. We are not going to change the price randomly. So imperfect knowledge. So here nowadays some people are having they are having the awareness that quality is the main important for using a product. So if the whoever the buyers are there, if the buyers are having that awareness of the quality of the product, automatically they won't go for advertisement and promotional. They won't attracted by that advertisement promotional videos of that particular product. So automatically they will see the what is the quality of that product, whether we need to buy that product or not. That is the thing. So knowledge about the product is important. If they are having imperfect knowledge, means automatically they are attracted by the advertisement and they are moving to that from one seller to the another seller for buying that particular product. So group. So what is the group here? In under monopolistic competition, whatever the products, the various forms are not identical, so they are adding close substitutes. That means the products are close substitutes only, but there are a minute differences are there. So the collection of all products, the collection of all forms producing the close substitute products is called a group. So these are the things which we have explained in the previous class. So I have discussed in the price output determination also by using the graph. Here we are taking that AR is the average revenue per and MR is the marginal revenue per and SAC is the average cost. That means we are discussing about that short term period. That's why we are saying SAC and MC is the marginal cost. So always your marginal cost cuts your marginal revenue from the below. So wherever it cuts your marginal revenue per, that point is called the equilibrium point. That point we is denoting by E. So we need to extend this point onto the x-axis and up to your average revenue per and up to this average cost. So whenever I extend this up to this point, it is going to give that whatever the price you are selling that product. So when you extend this point up to this average revenue means, so whatever the cost you have incurred for the manufacturing of that product. So this is the profit. That means suppose for making that product you are incurring 20 rupees, but for selling the product you are incurring 30 rupees. So 30 minus 20 is nothing but here 10 rupees. So we are getting 10 rupees of profit. Okay, that is the profit we are getting here. So in the last class we have explained. Now we are going to start the oligopoly competition. So what is this oligopoly? This is the another type of market structure. This is the another type of market organization. It is derived from the two words. What are those two words? One is oligos and the other one is the polen. So oligo means few. That means for selling the commodities, we are having only few forms are there. So whenever in this market structure, there are only few forms are selling that type of a product, then that type of market is called oligopoly. So the term oligopoly is nothing but it is derived from two Greek words. One is oligos and the second word is polen. Oligos means few. That means we are having only few firms for selling that particular commodity. Polen means selling. So it is a type of imperfect competition. So how many types of market structures are there? There are two types of market structures. One is the perfect competition and the other one is the imperfect competition. So the oligopoly comes under the category of imperfect competition. So where there are only a few firms in the market. That means for selling the commodities in that market, only few firms are available. So here, by using this oligopoly market, we can sell homogeneous products or non-homogeneous products. So if they are selling homogeneous products, means we will call them as perfect oligopoly. Suppose if they are selling non-homogeneous products, means they call imperfect oligopoly. So once again I am telling, producing either homogeneous product or producing products which are close but not perfect substitute of each other. That means some differentiation is there with the products. So if they are selling the homogeneous products, means it is called perfect oligopoly. Okay. See, next, if you are not selling the perfect substitute, that means non-homogeneous product, then it is called imperfect oligopoly. So these are the oligopoly types. So for making the market structure as a oligopoly, what are the characteristics of oligopoly? So for making that oligopoly market, what are the characteristics should contain? So first, what is the in the definition itself? We have seen it contains only a few forms. So I will tell you some examples. If you take the automobile industry, so there are not more automobile industry companies are there, very less. In some cases, oligopoly firms are 4 to 5 only. In some cases, they are below 10 only. So that's why we are saying there are only a few forms. Okay, understand? So in oligopoly, we are having few forms means what is the count of forms means it may be 4 to 5 in some cases, or in some cases it may be less than 10. So what are the examples means automobile industries, your internet provide services. So internet service providers are also example for your oligopoly. And the next is cigarettes. So there are not more than cigarette brand companies. We are having very less cigarette brand companies. So that's why a cigarette company also comes under oligopoly. Okay. I will give some other examples. Aluminium, copper, iron. These are all homogeneous products. So for these products, we are not having not more than many companies. We are having only a few forms. And each aluminum, iron, copper, form to form, they are not going to be varied. They are homogeneous product only. So aluminum, copper, iron comes under which type of products? Homogeneous products, and they comes under perfect oligopoly. So if you take automobiles, that automobile is an example for non-homogeneous oligopoly or imperfect oligopoly. Why it is non-homogeneous? See, there are different types of cars are there. Each car is different from another car in some way. Okay, some comforts, some other things, whatever it may be. So there are some lot of variations are there from automobile to automobile. So they are non-homogeneous. So hope you understood the introduction of oligopoly. So oligopoly means imperfect competition. Only a few firms are going to be existed, and they are selling both homogeneous and non-homogeneous products in the market. So the first characteristic, few firms. So there are only few firms in the industry. So the industry contains many number of firms. So in that it contains only a few firms. So uh, as there are only a few firms means each firm contributes a sizable share of the total market. So here in that market, suppose suppose if you take aluminum, so aluminum supplying the company or aluminum selling company is there. So it is going to contribute a sizable share because as the firms are very less only, they are going to contribute a sizable share of the total market. Okay. So whatever the decision taken by the one firm, because as the firms are very less, whatever the decision taken by the one firm, it is going to influence the actions of the other firms also. Okay. Suppose if I take any X company, so whatever the decision taken by that company, it is immediately going to affect the market. So that is the problem with this oligopoly. So because these 4 to 5 firms are going to compete with each other, so they are having more competition among themselves. So they are going to compete with each other. When you consider that oligopoly. So what is the second characteristic? Second characteristic is interdependence. Interdependence means each firm is going to dependent on another firm. That is called interdependence. That means we are saying as there are only a few number of firms, okay, whatever the steps taken by one firm to increase the sale. Suppose I'm having one automobile company or a cigarette company, whatever it may be. Suppose I'm going to reduce the cost, so I want to increase my sales of that my product. So I'm going to reduce the cost. So for increasing the sales, what is the step I have taken? I'm reducing the prices of that product. So by reducing the price or changing the product design, so how I am going to attract the consumer by reducing the prices, by making the product more attractive. That means we are making some changing design in the product or by increasing the advertisement expenditure. So if you want to attract the consumer means you have to invest more on the advertisement. You have to create more innovative ideas for generating that advertisement. So automatically, naturally, this will affect the sales of the firms in the industry. So If one firm is going to do like this means automatically the sales of the company is going to be increased. So one company's sales is going to be increased means automatically the demand for that another company's sales is going to be reduced. That's why they are interdependent on one another. Okay, next the third one is indeterminate demand curve. Okay, so as we are explained that the interdependence of the firms market their demand curve indeterminate. That means, see, generally, this is the basic important thing here we need to discuss. See here. Suppose if the curve is, so generally how the demand curve is like this only. It is falling from left to right. The demand curve is falling from left to right. But here, if you take this oligopoly market, the demand curve is not like that in this straight manner. Up to this point in this way, next it is going to fall in this format. So that means we are not able to determine the demand curve because in another all the market structures the demand curve is falling from left to right. So that means why it is happening. That means so whenever one firm is reducing the prices, so what the other firms also think. So X company is going to reduce the price. Automatically, the consumers will going to be attracted by that X company. So we need to our firm need to be reduce the prices of that particular commodities because to increase our sales. So automatically the other firms also will make a cut in their prices. So if one company is going to reduce that price means another company is also affected by that. Another company is also going to cut their prices. So the firm cannot be certain about the demand for its product. So automatically what happens if X company is reducing its price for increasing its demand, immediately this will be affected to the Y company. Immediately Y company also has been reduced its prices. So the consumers will move to which company, X company or Y company. So in this case, we are reducing the price. So we can whether we can determine the sales are going to be increased. No, that's why the curve is indeterminate. The demand curve is indeterminate. So thus the demand curve facing an oligopolistic and losses its definiteness. So that's why it is not falling in this way. This is coming in this format. Okay, that is not indeterminate. Next, so advertising and selling cost. So in oligopoly forms, advertising is going to play a greater role in that oligopoly market when compared to the other market systems because as there are only a few firms, each firm is going to compete with each other. So according to Professor William J. Dunmore, is what he said, it is only oligopoly that advertising comes fully into its own. That means in this case, type of oligopoly market, advertising is going to influence the consumers in many ways. Most of that part. So if you
Hello.
okay. A huge expenditure on advertising and sales promotion techniques is needed both to retain the present market share and to increase it. See here, what is the expenditure they are incurring? They are incurring the expenditure both on the advertising and the sales promotion techniques. That means for increasing their sales, they are going offering some, they are doing some promotional videos or some other discount offers or any other thing, 1+1 offers. So generally, what we see for whenever we are buying the products, so in some cases we are getting 1+1 offers, or we are getting 20 to 25% discounts, or we are getting another benefits at the festival times or whatever it may be. So these are things. These things need to be. These are needed to for what purpose? To retain the present market share and to increase the share also. Okay. Next, price rigidity. This is the very important. That means in oligopoly, the market price remain rigid. That means if one firm reduces the price, it is with the intention of attracting the customers. So why the firm is going to reduce the price? So whenever you are reducing the prices, means you feel that many number of customers are going to be attracted. Whenever your product cost is less means many number of consumers are attracted to your product and many number of consumers will create a demand for your product. That is the intention of a firm for reducing the price. So in order to retain their customers, they will also reduce the price. So the pricing decision of one firm results in loss of to all the firms in the industry. Suppose if X company has been reduced the price of his products, but it is not recognized by the another companies Y, Z and another. That means X company has reduced his price, but the other companies has not aware of that X company has reduced their product cost. So automatically the Y and Z companies will result in losses. So their demand for their products has been reduced. So if one firm increases price, other firms will remain silent, thereby allowing that firm to lose its customers. For example, if X company is not increasing its price for so and so reason, but the other firms is not going to increase their price, they are remaining same. So whatever the previous for previous prices they are selling their products, they are selling that product with that price only. So that means only X has been affected. So with that increase of cost, it is losing some customers. So the firm is going to lose its customers. That is the price visibility here. So no firm will be ready to change the prevailing price. So whatever the firm is existing in that oligopoly market, it will be ready to change the prevailing price. So whatever according to changing marketing conditions, how that a rival of oligopoly firm is going to behave. So we have to affected by the actions of that rival firms. So no firm will be ready to change that prevailing price. Whatever the prevailing price, it is not ready to change that price. So it causes the price resistance in the oligopoly market. Next. So just now we have seen that characteristics of the oligopoly. So these are concepts are very easy if you listen properly. What is that oligopoly? Oligopoly comes under the category of imperfect competition. It is also one of the type of that market structure. Here it contains only a few firms in that industry and it is going to sell homogeneous and non-homogeneous products. If it is selling homogeneous products, means it is called perfect oligopoly. If it is selling non-homogeneous products, means we call it as imperfect oligopoly. So what are the characteristics under oligopoly? We have seen just now. Now, how the price determination? That means how can we achieve the equilibrium point under oligopoly? We will see now. See here, we have to discuss a Sweezy model of kinked demand curve. Here, previously in the characteristics, I told that the demand curve is not determinate; it is indeterminate demand curve. That is the one of the property of that oligopoly. So now we are going to discuss about the Sweezy model of kinked demand curve for rigid prices. So here in 1939, this Professor Sweezy has presented this kinked demand curve analysis to explain the price residues often observed in the oligopolistic markets. See here, whenever the particular market is oligopoly market, how the price residues are going to be happen with this price residues. So how we are going to determine the price of the product. So he has studied on this price residues and he has given explanation in 1939. So, and we have shown that the curve as a kinked demand curve. Kink means we are having some bend in that demand curve. So some sloping is coming in that curve. So that's why it is called kinked. So here, so what he assumed that he assumes that if the oligopolistic form, that means if any form lowers its price. So suppose if you take X oligopolistic form, this X form is going to lower its price means automatically it rival forms. That means whoever there in this oligopolistic market, its rival forms will react. Automatically they will react. So they must be very much reacted by this. So they react by matching that price. So they will react by matching that price cutting in order to avoid losing their customers. That means, so suppose we are having a 5 oligopolistic firms. So first firm is going to reduce the price. Automatically second, third and fourth is going to affected by this reducing price of the first firm. They are also going to reduce the prices of that prices of their firms. That is that thing that he has observed. So thus the firm lowering the price will not be able to increase its demand much. So in this case, the first firm has reduced its price. So automatically the rival firms have reacted immediately. They have also reacted immediately, and those firms are also reduced their price. Now all the firms are giving that product with that same prices only. So now the first firm is going to increase its demand? No, definitely not. So there is no use for that firm for reducing its price, because the rival firms are also has reduced their price. So this is the effect we need to observe here. This is the price rigidity. So the firm lowering the price will not be able to increase its demand much. This portion of the demand curve is relatively inelastic. See here, the demand curve is sloping down to left generally. Why? Because it is down to left. Whenever the price is high, the quantity demanded is less. The quantity demanded is less. Whenever the prices are going to be reduced, the quantity demanded is more. But in this case, the firm is lowering the price, but it is not able to increase its demand. Why? Because the rival firms are also going to reduce their price. So whenever they are reducing the price, they are not going to increase the quantity demanded. That's why the demand curve is inelastic. So it is not inversely proportional to its price. That's why it is inelastic. Okay. On the other hand, if the oligopolistic firm increases its price, second case we are discussing. So in another way, the oligopolistic firm is going to increase its price. Suppose X firm is increased its price. So what are the rival firms is going to do? The rival firms are not going to follow its change. So that company has increased their price. No, we don't. We sit calm. We don't increase our prices of our products. So what the rivals are doing here? The rivals will not follow it and change their prices. They are not ready to change the prices of their products. So here again, who is going to affect here? The first firm who has increased its price. Automatically, with the increase of its price, its demand is going to be reduced. So here, in this case, it is elastic nature. So here, thus the quantity demanded of this firm will fall considerably, because as the firm has increased its price means automatically the firm will fall considerably, because the demand for its products is going to be reduced. So this portion of the demand curve is relatively elastic. That means whatever the demand curve we are considering, it is having two parts. One part is called inelastic part, and another part is called the elastic part. So inelastic part means whatever the price changes they are happening, it is not affected with this price changes. That means decreasing the price means it is not going to increase the quantity demanded. In another case, we are increasing the price, but it is the curve is relaxed. Automatically, the quantity demanded for this price is going to be reduced. So that is the two things. That means the demand curve is divided into two portions. That is inelastic part and the elastic part. So in these two situations, the demand curve of the oligopolistic firm has a kink. That means there is some bend, kink at the prevailing market price. So at a certain prevailing market price, it is having a kink. That's why it is called kinked demand curve. See here. On the x-axis, I have taken quantity demanded. On the x-axis, what I have taken output or quantity demanded. On the y-axis, what I have taken the price of the commodities. Okay. So here BD is the demand curve. It is not like straight in the previous case. It is having some kink at this point. So this kink point is, if you extend this, the price is called that kinked price. Okay. So we are extending this point onto the x-axis, onto the y-axis. So here, so this point is represented as a kink point. Okay. So from this, we are explaining the concept from this point here. The portion above this having an inelastic nature and the portion the portion below this kinked point having elastic nature. That means two natures of the demand curve we are observing here. Inelastic demand curve portion and elastic demand curve portion. Okay, so that is the thing. So in the above diagram, what we are going to explain here, we shall notice that there is a discontinuity in the marginal revenue curve. Here, see here, this is the marginal revenue curve. Suppose how the marginal revenue curve will be. So in generally, we are having the AR, that is demand curve. So your marginal revenue curve must be like this. So in general case, we are having the marginal revenue curve must be in this way. This is your average revenue curve. This is your average revenue curve. But in this case, your marginal revenue curve is breaking. So some gap is occurring in your marginal curve. That is the thing we need to observe when there is a oligopoly market. So generally your average cost curve is like this and your marginal cost is going to cut your marginal revenue. So whenever your marginal cost curve cuts your marginal revenue. This point is called the equilibrium point in the previous cases. So what is the equilibrium point? Whenever MR is equal to MC, it is going to obtain a equilibrium point. This is not going to obey in this your oligopoly market. In oligopoly market, your marginal cost curve is cutting your marginal revenue, but there is a break here. It is not intersecting this curve. Here in this curve there is a break. So the principle of MR is equal to MC is not existing in this oligopoly market. That is the main point you have to observe here. So here we will extend up to this. So whatever the price we are getting on this axis, this price is called the equilibrium price. Okay. So here, once again we will see this. In the above diagram, we shall notice that there is a discontinuity in the marginal revenue curve. So this is the marginal revenue curve. There is not continuity of this curve. There is a breakage in this curve. And your marginal cost curve is cutting this marginal revenue because it is not intersecting your curve, because your curve has some breakage here, some gap is there. Okay, so during this discontinuity, the marginal curve is drawn. This is because of the fact that the Fermi will equilibrium at the output n. That means when you extend this point onto this x-axis, so this 0 n is going to give this quantity demanded at this equilibrium point. 0 p dash is going to give that price level. So here, where the MC curve is intersecting MR curve from the below. So your MC curve is cutting your MR curve from the below, but it is not giving that equilibrium when MR is equal to MC. This case is not going to be existed in this oligopoly market. That is the thing I am going to explain here. So what is the change in the demand curve? There is a kink and this demand curve. The portion above this kink is called inelastic. The portion below this kink is called elastic nature. So in the first case, the firm is going to reduce the prices, but automatically the rival firms are also going to be implemented the reducing the prices. That's why the first firm which has been reduced its price, it is not going to increase its demand. So that's why it is inelastic in nature. In the second case, what we are getting, the first firm is going to increase its price, but in this case, what the rival firms are doing, they are not increasing their price of their products. They are sitting calmly. That means they are not changing any prices of their products. So whoever the firm that has been increasing their price, automatically the demand for the products of that firm has been reduced. That means whenever we are increasing the prices, the production is going to be affected. So it is elastic in nature. So here MR is not equal to MC in this case. So what are the assumptions we have taken in this oligopoly? We will see once again. So if it should be a oligopoly market means, what are the first consideration? It should contain only a few firms. So whatever the commodities it is producing, those commodities producing firms are very less. Yearly there may be 4 to 5 are below 10 only. So then it is called oligopoly market. Okay. The product produced by one firm is a close substitute for the other firms. So in these four to five firms, whatever the one firm is producing a product, it is a close substitute for the other. In some cases, there may be non-homogeneous, slight differences are there. Okay, so the product is of the same quality. There is no product differentiation. So examples are aluminum, copper, iron, internet service providers. So in some cases, they don't require advertising expenditures. In some cases, they require advertisement expenditures most of the way. In some cases, they don't require advertising expenditures. So there is an establishment of prevailing market price for the product at which all the sellers are satisfied. So we should use the prevailing market price. At this market price only, all the sellers are going to be satisfied. So the prevailing price we are going to determine. So each seller's attitude depends upon the attitude of his rivals. Suppose if we are having five firms. So one firm is going to do certain action, means these actions are affected by another rival firms also. So one person's attitude is going to depend on the another person's attitude. So any attempt on the part of a seller to push up his sales by reducing the price of his product will be counteracted by the other sellers. That means if X firm wants to increase his sales, so increase his sales. So for increasing his sales, what it is doing, it is going to reduce his price of his product. So automatically it will be counteracted by the other sellers also, who will follow the same move. So when we are playing the chess, to meet the opponent, we are taking certain moves to defeat that opponent. Like that, here they are acting as the rivals in this competition market. So whatever the move that should be taken by one firm, it will be affected by that another firm. Automatically, they are taking the counter move to complete that particular form. Okay. If he raises the price, means others will not follow him. Suppose I am going to rise the price of my product, means whoever the rival forms of my commodity, they are not going to increase the prices. These are the things which I have explained. Once again, I am telling what are the assumptions are required in this oligopoly market. Okay, so